Dan Labbe and Mary Kay Cabot, day 2 of Browns training camp here at the Greenbrier in West Virginia, Mary Kay, and it was a busy day. Let's just start. We heard from the quarterback for the first time today, and of all the press conferences we've had with Deshaun Watson, it just felt like this one was a little bit different. Like he was ready to open up a little bit, and it almost felt like turning the page in a way from everything that happened last year to now. It's a new season, and he is the starting quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, this training camp finds him in an entirely different place than last year. He had his whole ordeal still on his mind. He didn't know how many games he was going to play at this point last year. He had all of those suits outstanding, and he just did not know what the future held for him. Now he knows he's the starting quarterback, as you mentioned. As long as he stays healthy, it's him until the very end of the season, and he knows this is his team. And he spent time sharing his story, his life story, with his teammates in a team meeting on the first night of camp on Saturday night. They call it their 4-H program, where guys really, bare their souls and share their stories, and that stands for like heroes, heartaches, hopes, something along those lines. Something else. And so he did that. He said it was very, very well received, and he just does seem way more at peace this year.
Yeah, and it just feels like everyone is just in a better place with him actually being the starting quarterback and being the guy, whether it's the receivers, whether it's the coaches, whoever it is. Everyone just seems to be in a better place and just better spirits because they know who the guy is now.
Yeah, I mean, last year, all of these guys, from the coaches to the receivers to everybody else, they really had to plan for Jacoby Brissett being the starting quarterback for however long it was going to be. It turned out to be 11 games. And, that's kind of tough to divide reps, to divide loyalties, to divide chemistry, and all that kind of stuff. Now they're all on the same bus now. They're all traveling on the Deshaun Watson bus to wherever it takes them. And it's just completely different than last year.
Now, we also heard from Nick Chubb, and again, here's another guy that probably gave us one of the best press conferences we've had with him, and it was because of the running back position and the state of the running back position. It was almost 2 years ago to the day, it was August 2nd, 2021, that Nick Chubb signed his contract extension. That's the last big contract extension any running back has signed. Nick Chubb participated in a Zoom call Saturday night with other running backs from around the league. It was organized by Austin Eckler. It included guys like Derrick Henry and other players like that, trying to figure out what running backs can do, and Nick was ready to talk about it, Mary Kay.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, it really was a heartfelt conversation that we had with Nick, too. He usually doesn't open up that much, but this is a topic you can tell he's very, very passionate about it. He feels like running backs are treated unfairly, they're being paid unfairly, that the more they go out there and give of their hearts and souls, and the more they leave it out there on the field, the more that's being held against them from a financial standpoint, a contractual standpoint. He stood up for his teammates on this Zoom call, and of course, as he mentioned, he could be in the same boat next year.
Yeah, his contract is up after next season, and then who knows what happens because, second contracts are hard enough, but third contracts for a running back are even more difficult. But that being said, Kevin Stefanski, Andrew Berry, both high praise for Nick Chubb, as did Deshaun Watson. He added too, and Andrew Berry said he hopes that Nick Chubb can be a Browns running back or a Browns player for a while, paraphrasing there. Now, I did mention Andrew Berry. We heard from Andrew Berry today to open up training camp. What stood out to you from what Andrew had to say?
Well, we covered so many topics with Andrew, so we hit every single thing that you could possibly think about, from the Zadarius Smith trade to how Deshaun Watson looks to all of the Nick Chubb stuff and will he be here. We also asked him something we didn't get to ask Kevin after practice, and that was, where was Amari today? Yeah. So Amari, has a minor tweak of something, we don't know what, but he's day-to-day, so it shouldn't be anything serious. We asked Andrew about Perrion Winfrey. Obviously, they're disappointed the way things went down, but they feel like they have, a bunch of good defensive tackles and they'll be okay there. So lots of areas we covered.
Yeah, hearing from him for the first time since the Zadarius trade was interesting. And, he called, actually one interesting thing today, Kevin Stefanski called Nick Chubb the best running back in the NFL. Andrew Berry called Myles Garrett the best pass rusher in the NFL. No surprise there, but just interesting that both brought that up today. And he talked about the pass rush, how Jim Schwartz really, the scheme here fits Myles really well and how he can excel. And, of course, Zadarius's versatility is going to help Myles as well. You mentioned Amari Cooper. Obviously, that would be a problem if this kind of lingers or hangs around. DeJuan Jones also did not practice today with an illness. But just real quick to go back to Cooper, Is there any reason for concern at this point, or is it legitimately just day-to-day and he'll be back out there maybe this time a week from now?
Yeah, I think he'll probably be back out there very quickly. The way that Andrew described it as a minor tweak and day-to-day, that's not something that anybody, gets concerned about. It doesn't set off alarm bells. The only thing that it kind of, brought to my mind is the fact that you've got now veteran Marquise Goodwin, who's sidelined. You've got still Jakeem Grant, who is sidelined. You've got Michael Woods, who's sidelined for the year with an Achilles. Now you've got Amari out for a little bit. So they're getting a little thin in terms of camp receivers, but they should be okay.
Okay, full report here from day 2 at Browns training camp in West Virginia. It was a hot one, but we will be keeping at it here for the rest of the week. I'll be here for a few more days. Then Ashley's going to come out and join Mary Kay for a few days. So full coverage of Browns training camp at the Greenbrier. It can all be found at cleveland.com/Browns. Is my hair all crazy or is that a cloud? Okay. Sorry. 3, 2, 1. I had a bug land on my nose. All right.